We're back. Of course, another UFC predictions video. UFC just keeps putting out events. I'm going to keep putting out videos. Tomorrow night, UFC Fight Night. UFC Seattle. Israel Adesanya, Joe Pyfer in the main event. I'm here to give my breakdown and predictions for the entire card, starting with the first prelim of the night, all the way to the main event in the middleweight division. Got my trusty notes. As always, just got my haircut, feeling devious. Let's get right into it. First fight of the night, women's strawweight. And before I get in this, you're probably wondering, oh, you're just pulling up the Google picture? You can't pull up the UFC website picture like you usually do? Well, every time I try to do these videos, the UFC website is the only website on my computer that won't load. Everything else will load but that website. So I don't think it's me. I think it's them. I think it's UFC. I blame them. Anyway, first fight of the night. Alexia Thanera versus Bruna Brazil. Now, of course, we're starting with a women's MMA fight to get the fans hyped and ready to go. I shouldn't hate because the last one was the Chanel Dyer fight, which was entertaining. She got a TKO, which I predicted. Shout out Chanel Dyer from last week. But, of course, they're starting with a women's MMA fight. Here's some notes that I took about both of these fighters. Bruna Brazil. She can't trust her. She's too inconsistent. She's not someone that I would pick. Just, you never know what's going to show up. Sometimes she looks good, and sometimes she just looks like shit. I won't even lie. I've watched her fight. It's too inconsistent, which you see a lot at the, how do I want to word this, lower level women's MMA in the UFC. You see a lot of inconsistencies here, and she's one that I see a lot of inconsistencies with. Thanera's a good grappler. She beat Molly McCain. Both these girls, I believe, have fought Molly McCain. I think they both beat her, too. That doesn't mean much. I'm just bringing it up because people know who Molly McCain is. So, I don't put a lot of weight into beating Molly McCain, even though she got, like, a video package on the last UFC card. I was like, bro. Like, she was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was like, are we for real right now? But, anyway, the UFC just loved Molly McCain, probably because she was buddies with Patty. But she sucked. Anyway. Anyway. Brazil is a fighting nerd, too. People forget. She's one of the fighting nerds. She just doesn't get any clout about it because she's not good like they are. Like most of them are, anyway. So, I'm a fighting nerds hater. I'm not going to lie. I don't like a lot of the guys in the fighting nerds. I think a lot of them are overrated. And Bruna Brazil, good example of it. I'm picking her to lose. Give me Alexia to beat Bruna Brazil by decision, of course. Of course. Picking decision. Start the show. Women's MMA to a decision just to get the fans fired up in Seattle. That's how we're starting the show. Now, moving on, bantamweights. Wow, this being the second fight in the prelims is kind of crazy to me. But Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez. I like this fight. Like I said, I'm surprised it's the second fight on the prelims of a fight night. That's kind of crazy, but I believe Ricky is a more well-rounded fighter than Adrian Yanez. Yanez, there was a time where it looked like he was going to be the big guy. Like he was putting away a lot of people that they weren't good, don't get me wrong, but he was on a good streak, putting people out pretty well. Like, oh, this guy might be something at bantamweight. That got proven wrong. He is not something at bantamweight. And he's going up against Ricky Simón. He's also had some good moments, fought some tough guys. He's fought the Marabs of the world. He's fought, I believe he fought Rob Font at one time. I want to say Uriah Faber, too. I could be wrong. But he's fought a lot of big names at bantamweight in his career. Tough guy, tough fighter. Ricky, I said, is a better striker. I do feel he's a better striker. Yanez is going to be faster, I believe, on the feet in the striking, but I believe more well-rounded striker is Ricky Simón in this fight. I do believe Ricky's also the better grappler. Like I said, I believe he's more well-rounded than Adrian Yanez. I'm going to expect him to look for takedowns in this fight, try to get it to the ground, and sometimes pin Yanez up against the cage a little bit, try to negate that hand speed and that striking of Adrian. And I do believe that'll get Ricky Simón a win here. I'm going Ricky Simón. Decision win over Adrian Yanez. 2 decisions to start the card. Oh, yeah. We're bringing heat in Seattle, boys. Shout out to Seahawks, Super Bowl champs. Light heavyweight. Navajo Sterling, Bruno Lopez. Sterling, a lot of people say he's the white Israel Adesanya. I hear that a lot. It's hilarious. I can't stand Israel Adesanya. We'll get into that in the main event. But anyway, Sterling, I don't know if it's just me, but I remember his debut being very disappointing. Like, I remember watching it. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of hype around this dude. Like, this dude, there's a lot of hype. And I haven't rewatched it, so maybe I should rewatch it. But I don't remember it being... I remember just being like, oh, okay, that's it? Oh. You know, like, I remember being like, there was a lot of hype to his name, so I thought it was going to be something crazy. But I'm pretty sure he won, like, a decision. Obviously, he's undefeated 8-0, and he's got Bruno Lopez in this fight. I believe Bruno has a bad chin, and he could get caught here in this fight. Sterling is a good kickboxer, and he's got power to put people out. He did it on his Contender Series fight, so I could see him catching Lopez here, but both guys are like super patient strikers, though, is the thing. Like, Navajo, if he catches you, it's because I believe he catches people when they come inside. They're blitzing in, they're trying to get inside, and then he catches them with counter punches on the way in. Lopez is more of a counter striker himself as well, so it's going to be kind of a lot of guys feinting at range, you know. Kind of slow start, I believe. So I could see a finish. Don't get me wrong. I could see Navajo getting a finish here, but I'm going to pick Navajo to win, but by decision. I'm tripling down on decisions to start the show. Rough. I hope I'm wrong in some ways for that reason. But yeah, I'm going to go Sterling is going to get the decision here. I believe he's got good grappling too. People forget about his grappling. But I believe he's a good grappler as well, so he can use it if he needs it. But I believe it's going to be a patient strike, a lot of striking, both patient guys here. Like I said, nobody really blitzing in, nothing crazy. But I believe Sterling will get the win here by decision. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a knockout or a finisher, but I'm going to go decision for Navajo Sterling over Bruno Lopez on this card. After that, women's flyweight. You guys thought the decisions were going to stop. Oh, you might be wrong. Let's go into this. Women's flyweight. Casey's been gone for a minute. She's had a little bit of a layoff here. She's the bigger name. I believe more people would know of Casey O'Neill over Gabriel Fernandez. But Gabriel's on a good win streak, though. Gabriela's on a good win streak. She's been winning, I believe, I want to say, is it 3 fights in a row? 4? I hope that's right. I hope that's right. I think I'm thinking of that right. I believe it's 3 or 4 fights. I do believe it's going to go to decision, like I said. The favorite is Casey, I believe, but I don't think she's going to win. I believe she's going to have some ring rust. She's going to be, like I said, she's going to be rusty. It's been a minute. She's going to have to get comfortable again. And Fernandez is on a good little run right now. She's at, I don't know if I want to say her peak, but confidence-wise, she's at her peak. So I think she's going to catch Casey here. She's going to take advantage, and she's going to get herself a win over Casey O'Neill by decision. Give me Gabriel Fernandez decision win over Casey O'Neill. 4 decisions in a row. That's right. I'm predicting greatness right now. Here we go. Heavyweights, Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. Heavyweights. The blob himself, Marcin Tybura. Tyrell, former Bellator PFL guy. We know I hate on those guys. I do. I just do. I don't believe if you come from there, that means you're good. You're not usually fighting any good talent. But this is heavyweight, and anything can happen at heavyweight. We do know this. I believe Fortune is the better striker here over Marcin Tybura. Tybura is really good at just putting his hands up and getting punched on. But Tybura is big and fat and blobby, and he's going to look to grapple and take Tyrell down and kind of just put his belly on him. Flop his belly down and kind of lay there. I mean, we've all seen Marcin Tybura fight. I don't think that's crazy for me to say. We've all seen it. And I think that's what he's going to go for here. Tyrell could get a KO early. I wouldn't be surprised because I believe he's going to put on pressure early on Tybura, try to land big power shots. He has the ability to finish. So I could see that. Makes me a little nervous. He's going to be more athletic than Tybura, but everyone's more athletic than Marcin Tybura. But I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to go Marcin Tybura. I'm going with the UFC guy. I'm always back in UFC against PFL or Bellator, whichever one he was in. They're the same thing now. But, yeah, I'm going to rock with Marcin Tybura here. I'm a little nervous for this one. I shouldn't say a little, a lot. I'm a lot of nervous. A lot of people, a lot of nerves. A lot of nerves in this fight. I'm going Marcin Tybura to get a decision by totally blobbing Tyrell Fortune into a decision here. Like I said, kind of nervous about this one. Tybura, he wins, but then he fights somebody good. But the thing is Tyrell Fortune good? I don't think he's going to be the level of good that beats Marcin Tybura, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go with Marcin Tybura here. Decision win via blob maxing over Tyrell Fortune. Now, 5 decisions, guys, by the way. I'm so sorry. I just see it. That's just the way I see it going. Maybe it ends here. Lightweights. Chase the Gooner Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. Hooper, potential star. He's entertaining. personality-wise, the UFC, I know they like him. I know they like Hooper. He's coming off a rough loss to Alexander Hernandez where he got knocked out. I believe this is going to be a good bounce-back fight for him. He's going to be looking, obviously, he's a great grappler, great jiu-jitsu guy. He's going to be looking for his takedown early and going to be looking to grapple early. Hooper does get punched on a lot, though. That's what makes me nervous. Usually, if he can't get his takedown, he's cooked. That's usually how it goes. He's going to throw a lot of kicks, a lot of teep kicks, front kicks out to the body for this when he is on the feet. But I do believe he's going to be looking to get his takedown on Gibson Jr. Excuse me, Lance Gibson, coming off of a split decision loss to, it was Bobby Green, wasn't it? Yes, versus Bobby Green. Doesn't mean much to me. I don't think Bobby Green's that good. I don't believe he's any good, honestly. And he lost to him. A lot of people said it was a lot of people said it was a controversial fight, but I don't remember too much about it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to go back and watch Lance Gibson versus Bobby Green. I have way better things to do with my life than that. Anyway, like I said, if Hooper can't get the takedown, it makes me a little nervous, but I do believe he will get it eventually. I believe he's going to struggle in the first round to find it because Gibson knows it's coming, but I believe eventually in the second round, Chase Hooper will find his takedown and will find his submission on the ground. Give me Chase Hooper, second round submission over Lance Gibson Jr. in this fight to get the train rolling again, to bounce back on the Gooner hype train. The Gooner is back, baby. Let's go, Chase Hooper. I believe this is the final prelim of the night. Back in the lightweight division, Ignacio Bahamondes, there we go, sorry, versus Tofik Musayev. Lightweight fight. Bahamondes has been around for a minute. This dude, he's good. This is a interesting matchup because Musayev, he got hype. He was coming from Ryzen. Oh, dude, Ryzen, dude. He's good. Again, if it's not the UFC, I don't believe in the hype. I'm sorry. I'm a UFC glazer. I glaze the UFC when it comes to this stuff. Musayev, he was good in Ryzen, and then he did have a tough debut against Matsubek Orbai where he got dominated in Kimura in the first round. So that's a tough guy to have your debut against, and it doesn't get much better because now he's got Bahamondes in his next fight, which I think is wild. He's got a rough road here. Bahamondes on short notice too, so Musayev was preparing for someone not nearly on this level, and now he's got someone on this level. That's gonna be rough. Bahamondes has way more experience when it comes to the UFC as well. He had a good fight with, or he's coming off that fight, I believe, with Fiziev. Was that his last one? It was recent, though. He had the Fiziev fight. That was kind of his big test that he had. But I think he's just a more well-rounded fighter. He can do a little bit of everything. He's super long and tall for this division as well. Musayev is a good striker, though. He's a solid striker, but again, if you look at the height disadvantage there, 6'2" to 5'8", I believe it's going to be hard for him to get inside on Bahamondes. And if Bahamondes was a bad striker, then I'm like, all right, maybe he'd have some success, but he's a good striker. I just think this is a really bad matchup for Musayev, so I'm going to go with Bahamondes to get the win here. I'm going to go, because I picked a lot of decisions, so let's go the total opposite. I'm going to go first round knockout or TKO for Bahamondes over Tofik Musayev in this fight. Crazy, could be crazy, but I just feel it's a very bad matchup for Musayev in this fight, especially getting Bahamondes on short notice. That's a guy I would really like to prepare for a while, but get him on short notice, that's rough. Tough fighter to get on short notice. Give me Bahamondes first round, knockout, or TKO. Main card time, here we go. T-Rex, baby, Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson, dude. I'm a McKinney fan. I think everyone's a McKinney fan, dude. His story is absolutely incredible. Very inspirational. He's a great dude, funny dude, and he's a kill or be killed fighter. He's either going to take you out or you're going to take him out, and we all know this. We all know a Terrence McKinney fight. That's what it looks like every single time. I think this fight, there's no way it gets past round one, and if it does, McKinney loses. If it gets past round one, McKinney's going to lose, but I don't think it gets past round one. Where was I at? Oh, I believe Nelson, he's a more patient striker than Terrence McKinney. McKinney's going to get in his face and put pressure on him early, and I do believe Kyle Nelson is not like that, and I believe he's going to struggle with that. And like I said, McKinney, kill or be killed, looking for that first round finish against a guy that doesn't like that pressure, doesn't like to be in that dogfight. I think that's a recipe for success for T-Rex. So give me Terrence McKinney, first round TKO or knockout over Kyle Nelson in the first round. But like I said, if it goes past the first round, it's probably going to go Kyle Nelson's way. But I don't think it does. I think McKinney, one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC, just for that reason. Like I said, kill or be killed, finish or be finished type of fighter. Of course, I believe that's going to stay a thing tomorrow night. Give me Terrence McKinney, like I said, first round TKO or knockout over Kyle Nelson to start the main card. Great fight to put on to start the main card, I believe. Now, middleweights. Mansour Abdul Malik. I was just saying his name yesterday to make sure I'd say it right. Now I'm not going to remember. I'm not even going to try. Yes, I am. Yusri Bagolari. Yeah. Bagari. Bagari. Yusri. Anyway, I know who he is. He's coming off that win over Azmat Bakoyev. I'd watched Azmat Bakoyev before the UFC. I watched him win the LFA middleweight title versus Dylan Budka. I believe that was in Kentucky. I watched that fight. So I was familiar with Azamat. He was on a good run in the UFC until he ran into yours truly right here, and he lost that fight. That dude, he's a tough fighter. He's a good fighter, and so is Mansour. Mansour has a lot of hype around him. I still believe he's super raw talent, though, to be honest. I believe he's kind of raw, I don't want to say green, but like not... like I said, raw. Raw is the best word I can use. He still has some polishing up that he needs to get done. There's, like I say, there's a lot of hype. He's a big finisher. He's looking for finishes. He's got that, I think his most recent one is that guillotine over Tricoli, but we talked about Tricoli last week. I think he sucks. This is the toughest fight I believe Mansour has had yet. I believe it's going to be a close fight, and I believe his opponent here, Yusri, is a very polished fighter. I believe he's very polished, good, well-rounded fighter, but I believe... like I said, I believe it's going to be the toughest fight Mansour has had up to this point. So I could see it going either way, but I still believe Mansour is going to get it done by decision, though. I don't think he's going to get a finish. I believe he's going to get tested. He's going to have to dig deep. He's going to have to pull something out of the fire here to get it done. But I believe he will. Give me Mansour Abdul Malik by decision, a close decision in this fight. Very nervous about this one because, like I said, I think this is the toughest fight he's had so far, but I believe he will get it done via decision. Give me Mansour Abdul Malik. Now, we go down to the featherweights. Juliana Rosa versus Lorraine Douglas. Where are we at here? Rosa is so unpredictable. Again, one of them guys, hard to trust, very unpredictable. You don't really know what you're gonna get with him. Like I say, he's a tough fighter, but his chin's been tested, his chin's been cracked, so that makes me nervous as well. Going against a guy like Douglas. Douglas has had, I was looking into his stuff. He's had a good career turnaround. He's 13-5, which is okay, but before that, it was rough. He didn't have the best record to be in the UFC or to get to the UFC, and now he's here with 13-5 record. So he's got momentum. He's got the hot streak going here. He's a good, tight and like technical boxer. Like he's not going to overextend. He's not going to rush. He's very patient, hands tight, rolls his shoulders, good boxing, striking, and I believe that is a recipe for disaster for Juliana Rosa, but a recipe for success for Douglas. I'm taking Douglas, and I'm taking him by first round knockout or TKO over Juliana Rosa. I believe that boxing is going to pay dividends here. It'd be very good for Lorraine Douglas. Like I said, he's going to be patient. He's going to get inside. He's going to be high and tight. He's going to have his guard up. He's going to get in there, and he's going to land a good shot on that chinny chin of Juliana Rosa and get himself a finish in the first round. Give me Douglas, first round knockout or a TKO over Juliana Rosa. Now, okay, this fight. Michael Chiesa, Nico Price. Michael Chiesa's last fight. I guess he's from Seattle, so they're giving him his last fight in Seattle. He's getting an absolute layup. He was supposed to fight someone else. I think it was something Harris. I can't remember the dude's first name. It wasn't a big deal. Now he's getting Nico Price, who's probably even worse. One of the worst guys in the UFC, in my opinion. Just a goofy, not very good fighter. This is set up for Chiesa to look good, win, have an emotional retirement, get a cool little promo package, and get interviewed, whatever. Just a good little send-off is what this is going to be. So, I believe Chiesa, where do I have it? Where's it at? Right here. First round submission for Michael Chiesa. He's a submission guy. He's a grappler. He's going to go out and get his submission like he's known for, do his grappling, do his thing in front of all of his people in his retirement fight. Like I said, Nico Price is not very good. I don't think he's ever been very good. Great fight. Great last fight for Michael Chiesa to have here to kind of ride off into the sunset in a happy way. So, yeah, Michael Chiesa gets his moment. First round submission over Nico Price. to end his career and win this fight. Co-main event, women's flyweight fight, Alexa Grasso, Macy Barber. Obviously, Grasso, former champion, had the trilogy with Valentina, beat Valentina at one time, but she's on like a 2-fight losing streak right now. I believe she's on her way out. Macy's on her way in. The UFC likes Macy Barber because she's good looking. It is what it is. So they want her to look good. They want her to win, and I believe if she can win this fight, I could see them totally trying to give her a title shot against Valentina. Would not surprise me at all. And I do believe Macy's going to win this fight. I think she's going to use a lot of her grappling here against Grasso. It's going to be a tough fight. Grasso's still good. Don't get me wrong. Alexa Grasso is a good fighter. She's always been a good fighter. But I do believe that Macy will be getting the win here. Via decision, of course, with a lot of grappling. She's going to look for her takedowns. Look to mess Grasso up on the ground. A lot of takedowns, a lot of ground and pound. But I do believe she will get the win here by decision. Like I said, it's going to be a tough fight for her. Grasso's still tough. Still good. But like I said, I believe she's on her way out. Macy Barber is on her way in. UFC needs a new star. More new stars. And here's one at flyweight that's winning. Unlike they were trying to push Cortez for a while. Because, again, another good-looking woman. But she didn't win as much. Macy Barber's been winning. Look at that. 15-2. So, this fight. Rematch, by the way. From a long time ago. Rough first fight. Tough one. And Grasso won that one back then. I believe Macy Barber does get her get back here against Alexa Grasso and gets herself a decision win. And I could totally see her getting a title shot after this, or at least one fight away from the title shot. I think they'll give it to her again. They like her. They want her to be a star. They want to push her. She beats a former champion. I could totally see them doing it. Excuse me. Give me Macy Barber. Unanimous decision. I don't know why I decided. Sure. Unanimous. 29, 28, whatever. A close one. A close decision with Alexa Grasso, but she does get the win. Now, main event. Middleweights. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Body Bags Pyfer. This one is interesting because I think a lot of people think Joe Pyfer's just going to come in and knock out Israel Adesanya early. I'm not one of those people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Izzy's going to win. I am a Israel Adesanya hater. I think he's cringy. I think he's annoying. But there was a time where he was the man. He was a good fighter for a while when he was running atop of the middleweight division. But that time has come and gone. We all know this. He's obviously lost that fight to Pereira. Came back, beat Pereira. Then he lost to Strickland. Then he lost to Dricus. Then he lost to Nasruddin Imavov. All these guys are top guys, though. Dricus, former champion. Sean Strickland, former champion, about to fight for the title, and Imavov, who is up there to be number one contender. A lot of people thought he was going to get the title shot, including myself. So he's not losing to bad guys at all. Joe Pyfer, we know, has that touch of death in his hands. If he touches your chin, you're probably going to sleep. We've seen him do it multiple times. We've seen him get a submission, though, too. Was that a Boost Magomedov he did that, too? I think it was a Boost. I think it was a boost. He got that submission win over him. Tried to just prove he can do a little bit of everything. He had that one loss to Jack Hermanson, but that was kind of here or there. It's kind of over with by now. That fight against Kelvin Gastelum was a fight that I think about with this matchup here a lot, because Joe Pyfer, I do believe, is going to be looking for his power shot. He's looking to land that right-handed knockout Israel Adesanya. We've seen Adesanya struggle lately with getting rocked with punches and getting finished, getting knocked out, etc. So I believe he's going to be looking for that. But I do believe Izzy will have success early, moving around, staying long, leg kicks, teeping, just being way more technical than Joe Pyfer, knowing that Joe Pyfer is trying to come in there and just knock him out early. So I do believe Izzy will have some success early on with that. But again, this is a main event. It's at the Apex, or not the Apex, excuse me, but it's a fight night main event. So it's going to be a 5-rounder. So that's a lot of time for Joe Pyfer to find the button of Israel Adesanya. So I don't believe Izzy can survive for that long. Like I said, I do believe he will have some success early, with the calf kicks, with the moving around, with the staying long, his typical Israel Adesanya stuff. But I do believe that button will be found by Joe Pyfer eventually. Eventually he will find it. I said Izzy can't survive that long. I don't think he can. I don't think he's going to, try to initiate. We don't see Izzy initiate grappling a lot. I could see him maybe trying to do it just to stay alive in some moments, but Pyfer has shown that he's a solid grappler himself. He can kind of hang that way. So I don't believe that's going to be an outlet for success for Israel Adesanya. And Izzy does tend to struggle when guys put pressure on him. Sean Strickland's a great example. Sean just kept walking down Izzy, getting in his face, and Izzy was struggling. But Strickland, we all know he's an interesting cat. That's his style, his stance, his striking is very awkward, very weird. So, take that with a grain of salt as you will. But he does tend to not like guys getting in his face like that. And I believe Pyfer will be trying to get in Izzy's face to knock him out. Pyfer, again, on the come up. Izzy's on the come down. Pyfer, he's a rising star right now. He's younger. He's hungry. He wants it more. I believe he will get it done. I'm going to go a third round KO or TKO for Joe Pyfer over Israel Adesanya in the main event. Like I said, I believe Izzy will have some success early, a little bit doing classic Israel Adesanya stuff, but he can't run forever. You can't hide forever. Body bags, Pyfer will find your button, and he's going to press Izzy's button. Pause. Izzy might like that, honestly. He's going to find Izzy's chin. He's going to press that button, and he's going to get a TKO or knockout victory over Israel Adesanya in the third round. That's my prediction for the main event of UFC Seattle. And those are all my picks and predictions for UFC Seattle. Some interesting fights that I'm curious about. Some I could really care less about, but I did the research just for the video. But yeah, interesting fights. I'm curious, of course, on the main event. Should be fun. Macy Barber, like I said, she could get a title shot here. There should be some fun knockouts, I believe, in the Terrence McKinney fight, stuff like that. So it's a card definitely worth watching. Unfortunately, I don't know how much I'm going to get to watch. I don't want to say unfortunately. I'm going to be doing some media work for my boys at Carnage Media, Carnage Fight Series here in Ohio. They'll be in Zanesville, Ohio. I'm going to be doing some media work for them that night, so I'm going to try to keep up with the UFC the best I can. Nonetheless, I will be making a recap video. I will rewatch the fights if I have to. So I will, of course, be following up on my predictions. I've done good the past 2 shows. I believe I went 10-4 on the Josh Emmett Vallejos card. And then I went 9-4 on the London card last week. So let's see if I can keep it going here at UFC Seattle. Another fight. PFL is having a show. Again, I can't believe this is the most I've ever talked about PFL in my life. But Johnny Eblen versus Bryan Battle should be interesting. Bryan Battle, of course, former UFC fighter. And then Johnny Eblen's been like the top guy at Bellator forever at 185. He's like 16-1, multiple time champ, defended the belt, whatever. And I just made a video on all my socials talking about it. I say all my socials. I think it's just on TikTok right now. I'll share it on the other things. But it's kind of an interesting fight because Eblen always been the top guy at PFL and Bellator, and you got Bryan Battle, who was never a ranked top guy in the UFC. He was fun, he was entertaining, he was pretty good, but when it comes to their respective brands, you have the top guy versus not the top guy of another one. So if you put them together, this is a lot of weight on the shoulders of Eblen. He's kind of carrying the reputation of PFL and Bellator on his shoulders here, because if he goes out there and just gets dominated by Bryan Battle, that solidifies the argument that I push so much that, yeah, UFC's miles ahead of these guys. They can't hang. But if Eblen go out there, and dominate, or go out there and just get a win in general, to make people be like, all right, some of these guys might be able to hang somewhere in the UFC. So that's an interesting fight to watch out for as well. So I'm going to keep up with that. I obviously keep up with the UFC while I'm doing my thing out in Zanesville. So thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know who you think is going to win these fights, especially the big ones. I'm curious to know what people think about the main event. I know a lot of people picking Joe Pyfer. And so am I. So, I get it. But, yeah, let me know who you guys think are going to win. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the video. Follow my socials, Instagram and TikTok, showtime.tv04 on everything. Like those, subscribe to those, follow those, whatever you got to do. I'd much appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the recap of UFC Seattle.